The journey of the soul is eternal, flowing beyond the physical constraints we experience in our earthly lives. When we consider the nature of love, that profound connection that binds hearts together, we must understand that such power cannot simply vanish when the physical body returns to dust. The bond created through genuine love transcends the barrier between worlds, allowing those who have crossed over to remain spiritually present in the lives of those still walking the earth path. This continuation of connection isn't merely wishful thinking or the desperate hope of grieving hearts. It represents a fundamental spiritual truth that has been recognized by mystics, spiritual teachers, and ordinary people who have experienced extraordinary moments of connection with loved ones who have passed on. The soul's journey doesn't end with physical death. It transforms, entering a different vibration of existence while maintaining awareness of the physical realm. Consider how love operates even in physical life. When you deeply love someone, don't you sense when they need you, even from miles away? Don't you feel connected to them regardless of physical distance? This capacity for connection doesn't diminish when one soul transitions to the spirit realm. If anything, it intensifies. Without the limitations of physical existence, the soul's ability to perceive and connect becomes more refined, more sensitive to the emotional and spiritual needs of those they love. The spiritual mechanics of this continuing bond work through vibration and resonance. Every soul has its unique energetic signature, and when souls have been intertwined through love, that resonance remains active, even when one exists in the physical realm and the other in the spiritual. Like two tuning forks that, once struck together, will continue to vibrate in harmony even when separated, souls that have loved deeply maintain their harmonious connection across the veil between worlds. Those who have passed over can perceive the emotional states, thoughts, and experiences of their loved ones still in physical form. This perception isn't invasive, it's born from love and operates with the highest respect for free will. The departed can sense moments of joy, periods of struggle, and times of important decision-making in the lives of those they've left behind. They remain invested in the spiritual journey and growth of their beloved ones, watching with the compassionate understanding that comes from seeing life from a broader perspective. The spiritual teachings of Edgar have illuminated how this connection manifests. Through his remarkable intuitive insights, he explained that souls who have transitioned maintain not only awareness, but also genuine concern for those still embodied. This connection isn't limited by time or space. It exists in a realm where such constraints have no meaning. A mother who has passed can be present at her child's graduation. A husband who has transitioned can witness his wife finding joy again. A friend who has crossed over can observe the continuing impact of their friendship on those left behind. This continuation of relationship doesn't mean the departed soul is trapped or earthbound. Rather, it reflects the natural concern and love that remains active within that soul's awareness. The transition we call death doesn't erase the relationships and connections formed during physical life. It transforms them into something more subtle, yet potentially more profound. When we understand this truth, we begin to recognize that the universe operates not as disconnected fragments, but as an interconnected web of consciousness and love. The bonds formed through genuine love become permanent threads in the cosmic tapestry, unbreakable by physical death. Our departed loved ones continue to witness our lives, not from a distant, detached perspective, but from a place of intimate connection and ongoing investment in our journey. This awareness can transform how we experience grief. Rather than seeing death as an absolute separation, we can understand it as a transition in the form of relationship. The connection continues, though the mode of communication changes. The love remains active, though its expression takes new forms. Our loved ones still celebrate our triumphs, still witness our struggles, still accompany us on our journey, not as memories alone, but as active, aware spiritual presences. When our loved ones transition to the spirit realm, they don't simply disappear from our lives. Their continued presence often manifests through subtle signs that many dismiss as coincidence or imagination. Yet these gentle whispers from beyond are meaningful communications, evidence that the souls of our departed continue to observe and participate in our lives from their new perspective. Dreams, serve as perhaps the most common and profound conduit for connection. Not ordinary dreams, but those vivid, emotionally charged experiences where a departed loved one appears with striking clarity. These aren't merely products of memory or longing. They represent genuine spiritual visitations. During sleep, our conscious mind relaxes its rigid boundaries, allowing our soul to more easily perceive and interact with other spiritual energies. In these sacred dream encounters, the departed often appear healthy and vibrant, radiating peace or sharing messages of reassurance. They may offer guidance about current challenges or simply convey their continued love and presence. The emotional resonance of these dreams distinguishes them from ordinary dreaming. They leave us with a sense of having truly connected, often bringing tears of recognition upon waking. Familiar scents, appearing without physical explanation, represent another common sign of spiritual presence. Perhaps you suddenly detect your grandmother's distinctive perfume while sitting alone in your living room, or the unmistakable aroma of your father's pipe tobacco drifts through your home, though no one there smokes. These olfactory experiences often occur during moments of emotional significance, when you're celebrating an achievement your loved one would have cherished, facing a difficult decision, or simply needing comfort during times of distress. The spiritual energy of the soul can temporarily affect the physical environment to create these sensory experiences as a form of acknowledgement. I am here with you still. The movement of objects provides more tangible evidence of continued connection. Finding a significant item in an unexpected place, your mother's ring appearing on your nightstand when you'd stored it in a jewelry box, or a photograph of your departed friend suddenly falling from a shelf during a moment of remembrance. These occurrences often happen at emotionally significant moments. Some souls can briefly influence the physical realm enough to move small objects, creating these impossible movements as unmistakable signs of their attentive presence. Electrical phenomena frequently accompany spiritual visitations. Lights flickering when you speak about your loved one, radios changing stations to play your song, or electronic devices turning on or off without explanation. These aren't merely mechanical malfunctions, but evidence of spiritual energy interacting with electrical fields. The soul's energy, no longer constrained by physical limitations, can more easily affect the electromagnetic spectrum, creating these technological disruptions as forms of communication and recognition. Synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that defy probability, often serve as powerful evidence of continued connection. Perhaps you're thinking intensely about your departed spouse when a butterfly lands nearby and lingers unusually long, or you randomly open a book to find passage that perfectly addresses your current struggle, the exact advice your father would have given. These aren't random events, but orchestrated moments of connection, as our loved ones in spirit work with universal energies to create these meaningful intersections between realms. Nature often becomes a messenger between worlds. Birds that appear repeatedly at significant moments, particularly species with special meaning to you or your departed loved one, may represent spiritual visitation. A cardinal that follows you through the garden, a hummingbird that hovers near your window each morning, or a butterfly that lands on your shoulder during a moment of grief. These creatures can be temporarily influenced by the consciousness of our departed loved ones, drawn to your energy through the bond of love that connects you across dimensions. Physical sensations provide immediate evidence of spiritual presence. A gentle touch on your shoulder when no one is there, the feeling of someone sitting beside you on an empty bed, or unexplained warm spots in otherwise cool rooms. These tangible experiences occur when the energy of the departed temporarily condenses enough to create physical sensation. Many report feeling these touches during their deepest moments of grief, or during significant life events, as if their loved one is reaching across the veil to offer comfort or celebration. Children and animals, with their less conditioned perception, often detect these spiritual presences more easily than adults. A child who converses with an invisible friend, bearing the characteristics of a grandparent they never met, or a dog that wags its tail and stares attentively at an empty chair once occupied by its departed owner. These innocent beings perceive spiritual energy without the skepticism that blocks adult awareness. The key to recognizing these signs lies in remaining open while maintaining discernment. Not every dream or coincidence represents communication from beyond, but when these experiences carry emotional resonance, occur at meaningful moments, or contain information you couldn't otherwise know, they deserve attention. Our loved ones in spirit use whatever means available to convey their continued presence, working within natural laws while finding creative ways to bridge the gap between worlds. These signs aren't random or meaningless. They represent deliberate attempts at connection from those who continue to watch over us with love. By acknowledging these subtle communications, we strengthen the bridge between worlds and affirm the truth that love never dies. It simply changes form, continuing to connect us across the seeming divide between life and death. Among the most profound insights into the continuing relationship between departed souls and their earthly loved ones come through the remarkable work of Edgar. Known as the sleeping prophet, Edgar's ability to access universal consciousness while in a trance state produced over 14,000 documented readings that transformed our understanding of consciousness, death, and the soul's journey. His visions of the afterlife and the mechanisms by which souls maintain their watchful presence over the living offer extraordinary clarity about this spiritual dynamic. According to Edgar's readings, the transition we call death is not an end, but a liberation of consciousness from physical limitations. The soul, freed from bodily constraints, experiences an expansion of awareness that allows it to perceive multiple dimensions simultaneously. This expanded perception enables departed souls to maintain awareness of their loved ones still in physical form, while also engaging with the spiritual realms they now inhabit. The mechanics of this dual awareness operate through what Edgar described as the silver cord, an energetic connection that binds souls together through love across dimensional boundaries. Edgar explained that souls exist in a state of heightened telepathic sensitivity after physical death. This increased receptivity allows them to perceive the thoughts, emotions, and spiritual conditions of those they love on Earth. When we think intensely about a departed loved one, this creates what Edgar called a vibratory invitation, a psychic signal that draws their attention and awareness to us. This explains why meaningful signs of their presence often occur when we're actively remembering them or experiencing moments of emotional significance they would want to witness. The timing of these spiritual visitations follows patterns Edgar illuminated through his readings. He described how souls typically enter a period of review and orientation immediately after physical death, during which their awareness of earthly matters may be temporarily diminished as they adjust to their new state of being. However, once this adjustment period concludes, their ability to observe and connect with loved ones strengthens. This explains why signs of their presence sometimes increase months after their passing, rather than immediately. They've completed their initial transition and developed greater skill in bridging the dimensional gap. Edgar's readings revealed that certain conditions facilitate stronger connections between realms. Times of heightened emotional receptivity during meditation, prayer, or the borderland consciousness between waking and sleeping create optimal conditions for perceiving these spiritual presences. Similarly, anniversary dates, birthdays, and significant family gatherings often attract the attention and presence of departed loved ones who wish to participate in these meaningful occasions from their new perspective. According to Edgar, the soul's capacity to watch over the living operates through what he termed thought forms, concentrated patterns of consciousness that can temporarily manifest in ways perceptible to physical senses. These thought forms explain the sensory phenomena many experience, the familiar scents, touches, and visual glimpses that signal spiritual presence. These aren't hallucinations, but genuine interpenetrations of consciousness across dimensional boundaries, made possible by the enduring bond of love. Edgar's readings emphasized that this watchful presence respects free will absolutely. Our departed loved ones observe our lives not to control or manipulate outcomes, but to offer support, comfort, and occasionally guidance when invited. They perceive our spiritual growth and challenges from a higher perspective, understanding how current difficulties contribute to soul development in ways we cannot yet see from our limited vantage point. The mechanics of communication between realms were clearly articulated in Edgar's work. He explained that departed souls can influence dream states, work with our own intuitive faculties, or occasionally utilize natural energies to create synchronistic events that convey meaning. These communications aren't arbitrary, but purposeful, designed to provide reassurance, guidance, or simply acknowledgement of continued connection at precisely the moments when such contact would prove most meaningful. Edgar's readings revealed that souls develop increasing skill in these communications over time. A newly transitioned soul may manage only fleeting, subtle signs of presence, while those longer in the spirit realm can create more complex, unmistakable evidences of their watchful care. This progression explains why some departed loved ones seem more adept than others at making their presence known. They've developed greater mastery of the mechanics of cross-dimensional communication. The purpose of this continued observation isn't merely sentimental, but serves higher spiritual functions. Edgar explained that souls remain invested in the spiritual growth of their loved ones, offering energetic support during challenges and celebrating advances in consciousness. This ongoing relationship benefits both the living and the departed, providing comfort to those still embodied, while allowing the transitioned soul to fulfill promises and complete spiritual obligations that transcend physical death. Edgar's readings clarified that this watchful presence isn't limited by conventional understandings of time and space. A departed soul can be simultaneously present at multiple locations, attending to different loved ones in various situations, without division or diminishment of their attention. This multidimensional awareness explains how a single soul can seem present to multiple family members experiencing significant life events at the same time. What we perceive as impossible from our linear perspective is natural from the soul's expanded consciousness. Perhaps most significantly, Edgar's work emphasized that these connections occur within divine pattern and purpose. The continued bond between departed souls and their earthly loved ones fulfills what he called the universal law of relationships, the principle that genuine love creates connections that transcend all barriers, including physical death. This ongoing relationship isn't an exception to spiritual law, but a manifestation of its highest expression. Through Edgar's remarkable insights, we gain not just comfort, but comprehension of the mechanisms by which our departed loved ones maintain their watchful presence. His visions reveal a universe structured not by separation, but by continuous, loving connection, where death represents not an ending, but a transition in relationship, allowing souls to continue their shared journey from different dimensions of the same unified reality. The question naturally arises, when our departed loved ones watch over us, are they merely passive observers of our lives, or do they actively intervene to provide protection and guidance? The answer, revealed through spiritual insights across traditions and confirmed by countless personal experiences, suggests a nuanced reality where both observation and intervention occur, but always within specific spiritual parameters that honor our free will and life purpose. Departed souls maintain what might be called a respectful vigilance over their loved ones. This watchful presence primarily manifests as loving attention, a continuous awareness of our emotional states, challenges, and triumphs. This observation isn't invasive, but emerges from genuine care and interest in our continuing journey. Like a parent who watches a child take first steps without interfering, our departed loved ones often witness our struggles with compassionate restraint, understanding that certain difficulties serve our spiritual development. Yet this doesn't mean they remain entirely passive when we face genuine danger or critical turning points. Many have experienced moments of seemingly miraculous protection, the intuitive warning that prevents a fatal accident, the sudden impulse to change plans that avoids disaster, or the unexpected intervention of strangers at precisely the right moment. These protective actions often occur through subtle influences rather than dramatic manifestations. Our departed loved ones may impress urgent thoughts upon our consciousness, heighten our intuitive awareness at crucial moments, or occasionally influence physical circumstances in subtle ways that create protective outcomes. The capacity for intervention appears directly proportional to several factors: the strength of the soul bond established during physical life, the spiritual development of the departed soul, and most importantly, whether intervention aligns with our pre-birth life plan and karmic path. Not every hardship can or should be prevented. Some difficulties serve as essential catalysts for our spiritual growth. Our departed loved ones, with their expanded perspective, recognize which challenges must be faced for our development and which serve no higher purpose and might appropriately be mitigated. Energy plays a central role in how departed souls interact with the physical realm. Rather than manipulating physical matter directly, they typically work through subtle energetic influences, heightening our perceptiveness, strengthening our resolve during difficulties, or creating what spiritual teachers call fields of protection that subtly deflect harmful energies or circumstances. These energetic interventions remain largely imperceptible to physical senses, yet can significantly impact outcomes in our lives. Dreams provide a particularly effective channel for more direct guidance. During sleep, our conscious resistance diminishes, allowing departed loved ones to communicate more explicitly through dream imagery and experiences. Many report receiving specific warnings or guidance in dreams that later proved life-saving or transformative. These aren't ordinary dreams, but genuine spiritual communications, distinguished by their vivid clarity, emotional impact, and specific, applicable content that addresses current life circumstances. The guidance offered by departed loved ones typically comes as suggestion rather than command, gentle nudges toward beneficial choices rather than forceful direction. This approach honors our spiritual autonomy while still providing loving support. They may draw our attention to overlooked opportunities, strengthen our resolve when we've chosen correctly, but face difficulties, or comfort us when we experience the natural consequences of unwise decisions. Synchronicities often serve as mechanisms for subtle intervention. Those meaningful coincidences that seem statistically improbable, encountering exactly the right person, discovering precisely the information needed, or experiencing perfect timing that creates fortuitous outcomes, may represent the orchestrated influence of watchful spiritual presences working within natural laws to create beneficial circumstances. These synchronistic events don't violate free will, but create opportunities that we remain free to recognize or ignore. The protective presence of departed loved ones doesn't eliminate life's challenges, but provides an invisible support system as we navigate them. Like spiritual scaffolding, their energy often strengthens us during our most difficult moments, not by removing the difficulty, but by enhancing our capacity to face it with resilience and wisdom. Many report sensing an unexplainable inner strength during profound loss or challenge, a stabilizing presence that sustains them when their own resources seem depleted. Understanding this dynamic between observation and protection transforms how we experience both our relationships with departed loved ones and our approach to life's difficulties. Rather than feeling abandoned during struggles or expecting magical intervention that eliminates all challenges, we recognize the subtle, continuous support available to us. A partnership that respects our growth while providing genuine assistance within spiritual parameters. This awareness brings profound comfort, transforming grief from a sense of absolute separation to recognition of continued relationship. The pain of physical absence remains real, but it's counterbalanced by the understanding that the essential connection continues in a transformed state. Our departed loved ones haven't vanished from our lives, but maintain their loving presence from a different dimension of reality, still witnessing our journey, still celebrating our joys, still supporting us through difficulties with their expanded awareness and compassion. This continuing bond offers not just emotional comfort, but spiritual perspective. Recognizing that our loved ones now perceive life's challenges from a broader viewpoint helps us approach difficulties with greater equanimity. What appears as tragedy from our limited perspective may be understood as necessary transformation by those who see the larger pattern of our soul's journey. This doesn't diminish our pain, but contextualizes it within a more expansive understanding of life's purpose. The awareness that we are continuously witnessed by loving consciousness encourages us to live more intentionally. Knowing that our departed loved ones observe our choices and actions often inspires us toward greater kindness, integrity, and courage, living in ways that would make them proud while fulfilling our own highest potential. This invisible audience of loving witnesses becomes a motivation for spiritual growth rather than a source of judgment or constraint. Perhaps most profoundly, this understanding transforms our relationship with our own mortality. Recognizing that consciousness continues beyond physical death, that relationships persist across the threshold between worlds, diminishes fear and fosters anticipation of eventual reunion. Death becomes not an endpoint, but a transition in relationship, a doorway to expanded awareness that allows us to become the watchful, loving presence for those we temporarily leave behind. This continuing bond represents the universe's fundamental nature, not as disconnected fragments, but as an interconnected web of consciousness where love creates unbreakable connections across all dimensions. Our departed loved ones remain integral to our journey, not as memories alone, but as active, aware presences who continue to participate in our lives from their expanded perspective. In this recognition, we find not just comfort, but a profound affirmation of life's most essential truth, that love transcends all boundaries, even the seeming finality of physical death, continuing to connect us in ways both mysterious and undeniable. Did this message resonate with your spirit today? Perhaps it arrived at exactly the moment you needed this reminder that your loved ones are still present, still watching, still caring for you from beyond the veil. If these words touched your heart or brought comfort to your journey, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Each week, we explore spiritual truths that can transform your understanding and bring healing to your path. Share your experiences in the comments below. Have you felt the presence of a departed loved one? Received signs that couldn't be explained away? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today to find hope in their darkest moment. Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. It continues both in the comments section and in that sacred space where those who have crossed over still reach out to touch our lives. Subscribe, share, and join our community of seekers, exploring the eternal bonds that death cannot sever.